At the end of the 16th century, France was slowly recovering from the religious wars that had deeply affected the country. In many rural regions, poverty was widespread, religious instruction was limited, and many people lived far from the sacraments. It was in this context that God raised up an extraordinary priest, John Francis Regis, a tireless missionary who devoted his life to the poorest and most forgotten members of society. John Francis Regis was born on January 31, 1597, in Fontcouvert in southern France. His family was deeply Christian and taught him from childhood to love God, prayer, and service to others. From an early age, he showed remarkable intelligence and a deep desire to dedicate his life to the Lord. After completing his studies, he entered the Society of Jesus, the order founded by Saint Ignatius of Loyola, with the hope of becoming a missionary. After being ordained a priest, John Francis dreamed of serving in foreign missions. However, his superiors discerned that he was more urgently needed in France. Humbly accepting their decision, he began traveling throughout the countryside to preach the gospel. For many years, he crossed the mountainous regions of Vivarais, Valais, and Forez. Often traveling on foot through snow, cold weather, and dangerous paths, he visited isolated villages to preach, hear confessions, and celebrate Mass. His sermons attracted enormous crowds. Churches often became too small to hold everyone who came to hear him. He preached with simplicity, warmth, and conviction, touching countless hearts. Yet John Francis Regis did far more than preach. He devoted much of his time to helping the poor, the sick, orphans, and abandoned people. He organized charitable works and sought to restore hope to those who suffered. He also helped many women facing hardship. He established shelters for those at risk of exploitation or poverty and encouraged vocational training so that they could support themselves with dignity. Several miracles have been attributed to him. One of the most famous concerns a violent snowstorm in the mountains of Vivarais. According to tradition, while he was lost in extreme weather conditions, villagers saw a mysterious light that appeared to guide the missionary safely to shelter, allowing him to continue his work. Years of travel, hardship, and sacrifice eventually weakened his health. Nevertheless, he refused to slow down his missionary activity. Until his final days, he continued visiting villages and proclaiming Christ. On December 31, 1640, while staying in Leluvesque, he died exhausted from his ministry. His reputation for holiness spread rapidly throughout France, and pilgrims soon began visiting his tomb. In 1737, Pope Clement XII canonized him. Even today, Saint John Francis Regis remains a model of missionary zeal, perseverance, and love for the poor. His example reminds believers that every person deserves to hear the good news and experience God's love.